My name is Brandon McClellan. I was about 12 and my parents got saved. They started taking us to church on Sundays. I don't remember exactly when I asked Jesus to come into my heart, but I remember being about 14 years old. I had decided to join the Marines in 11th grade. Like, I had signed a contract and everything. I was like, right after I graduate right after I get my diploma, I'm going into the Marine Corps, and like I'm going to boot camp right after. January 2009, like I started partying a little bit and drinking, and I smoked pot for the first time. I started becoming a little more reckless and just a little more carefree with who I hung out with and the things I did. So, I mean, one day someone asked if I wanted to do some cocaine, and I didn't even hesitate. This is only a few months after I'd smoked pot for the first time, and I didn't see anything. I didn't think anything was wrong with it at the time. I was like, I'm going to the Marines. I've got my whole life taken care of. I'm good. I go to boot camp, and I'm there. And the 4th day there, I believe they woke us up and they drug tested us. They sit down, all 80 of us, and they go, "Recruit McClellan, you failed your drug test. Get up, pack your stuff up." And like, I was in shock. I was like looking around, and then I realized everybody's looking at me. I had to go into the office, talk to the drill instructor, and he was like, "Hey, you're out of here. Like, there's nothing we can do. You could try to come back in 6 months, but yeah, you can't be here now." For a few months after that, I didn't do much. I just hung out with my friends again. I continued smoking pot and popping pills or whatever. And then one day my friend, he just goes, "Hey man, you want to try heroin?" And I was just like, at this point I'm in kind of, I'm pretty depressed and sad about how I ruined my life, and I didn't care. I said, yeah. So I smoked it, and immediately after I smoked it, I said, okay, let me try a needle now. After I tried the needle, I was hooked. Like, all I could think about was, how am I gonna get this again? At that time, I was kind of just like, man, you probably could have offered me anything and I would have done it. Like, I didn't care about anything. I just didn't care about myself. I didn't care. I had completely forgotten, that I was a Christian and that I was saved. And then at this point, I think I'd convinced myself that God's not gonna forgive me for this. So I'm just gonna do whatever I feel like doing right now. My dad was tired of me either just popping in, asking for money, sleeping on the couch. He was like, either you get a job, you start going to school, or you're kicked out. Like, you're out of here. Like, I'm done. And so I failed another drug test for another job, and he was like, that's it, I'm sending you to Job Corps. I went to the welding school, but every weekend I went home, I would see my friends and hang out with them and, get high, and I'd bring some back to the school. And I mean, if I had got caught, I would have got sent home immediately. I graduated welding school, and they gave me like $1,100 after I graduated, just for graduating. I blew it all on heroin, like, as soon as I got out. And I remember my dad was like, so what happened to all that money? And I was just like, well, I lied. I BS'd, and I came up with, but I had a job. I had a great job, a great welding job. And I was making good money, working a lot of hours. But every time I would get paid, I would take care of my bills real quick, and then I would go out, and me and my buddies would throw in on a bunch of heroin, and just, my paycheck would disappear real quick. One day I ran out of money, I ran out of gas in my car, and I ran out of drugs, and I had no way of getting any of those things. So I had to call my parents and tell them, hey, I haven't seen you guys in a while, but you think you could come help me? I have no gas, I have no money, I need some help. And then I explained to them that I'd been doing pain pills, and they knew something was going on with me because I was skinny. Like, I was really, really skinny, and they thought I was on cocaine, and I I told them I needed help, and they got me help immediately. I got prescribed Suboxone, which is basically, if you ask me now, I'll tell you that it's just legal heroin. It's just legal pain pill, or you're prescribed something that is just as bad for you and just as addictive. And I didn't care. I just wanted something to not be sober. So I'm prescribed this stuff that's supposed to help me get off heroin, and I end up abusing that stuff too. Molly Olson, who goes to Hope City, she just messaged me on Facebook one day, kind of just to see how I'm doing, and she knew I'd struggled with drugs and stuff. Like, their whole family knew, and I guess she was just seeing how I was doing, and she goes, "Hey, you should come see me. You should come see me sing one Sunday morning." I was like, "You know what? It'd be a great idea." And then I saw her sing, and I was like, "You know what? This place is awesome." I paid attention to the sermons and stuff, and I started going every Sunday. At that point, I was like, "You know what? I'm done with this stuff. I'm done. I don't want to do this stuff anymore." Because it had caused me more problems than the amount of problems it had solved for me. I had to do it every single day. I had to do it as soon as I woke up. I had to do it right after lunch every single day. And if I didn't do it, I was an awful person to be around. I decided I'm just gonna suck it up and go through these withdrawals and try to get off of it. And I got off of it, and it took me a while before my brain started functioning properly again. Because I'd been on this stuff. I'd been on heroin. I'd been on Suboxone. So my brain, I hadn't been like truly sober in what seemed like 3 or 4 years almost. It was a terrible experience, but at the same time, I think I kind of had to go through that in order to, have the perspective I have now and come to the realizations that I've come to now. And I feel like God opened my eyes, and I feel like I have a chance. I feel like I have a fighting chance now. Just that I have hope. Like, that's the only way to describe it. Like, it's crazy that this is Hope City, and I'm talking about how, like, I have so much hope right now, like, about my future and what God's gonna do with me.